Hello and welcome to the Mama Means Business podcast. I'm your host, Siobhan Bent. Super excited for you to hear this new episode. I've got three amazing guests today. Well, this is the first for the Mama Mean Business show. I'm super excited to introduce you to Elizabeth Anderson, Michelle Glasgow. Did I say that? Glasgow? Did I say it?
Glasgow, yeah.
Glasgow. And Miss Loretta. These are the ELM and Oak Sisters. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you for having us.
Oh, you guys said that in tune too. Come on now.
That's why I waited for a second, because I knew it was going to be like that.
All right, so let's get started. Who is the eldest and who is the middle child and who's the youngest? Like, how does this work? Tell me the order.
I am the oldest.
Okay.
I won't say my age, but I am the oldest. I'm in the 40s, looking good.
All right, that's cool. That's cool. I'm the eldest too, so we can connect. We can connect.
All right.
All right. Who's next?
I'm the middle child.
Okay, Elizabeth.
And I'm the youngest.
And Michelle is the baby. My parents are Jamaican, and so we would call you the wash belly.
Oh,
Is she the spoiled one?
Well, there's more of us.
No, there's a younger sister.
Yeah, there's still more. Yeah, there's more sisters. There's an older one and there's a younger one still.
Oh, 5 girls?
And a boy.
Okay then. All right. That's a whole nother show. But all right. Well, ladies, thank you so much for accepting my invitation to be on my podcast. We are connected socially, and so this new journey for me has really been positioning me to stretch myself and to make new connections and build new relationships. So I truly appreciate you saying yes to joining me on the podcast. So let's get started. We'll go in order, all right? Because birthrights. Come on, Loretta. Let's introduce yourself and let the people know a little bit about Loretta.
Well, I live in the city of Burlington. I got 3 kids, all of them different in different ways, which makes the household very interesting. So I love it. I have my oldest is 24, 17, and 15.
Okay.
What else about me? I've been doing real estate now for 2 years, and I'm loving it. Before that, I worked for RBC. Well, I still do work for RBC, but I work at part-time type of thing. And I do more customer service administrative work, but I've always had a love for real estate. And I've always had a love for real estate.
All right. Because who wouldn't love real estate? Like, come on. Yeah. All right, Elizabeth, go ahead. Introduce the people. Let people know who Elizabeth Anderson is.
Hi, guys. My name is Elizabeth Anderson. I have 20 years experience into the credit field. Worked my way up in the finance field. I've also did some compliance and managed the collections department as well. I took on, some insurance at one point in time. So we were doing some financial coaching, but we decided we wanted to focus more onto real estate. Outside of that, personally, I have 3 children. And so 22, 17, and 12. I got to think about that, believe it or not. And I live in the Orangeville area. I mostly service Orangeville, Brampton, Dufferin area, and I will do Mississauga as well. And I started this journey with Michelle. She was doing real estate, and then I started to help her, and I'm glad that we're all together now.
All right, Michelle. Not the wash belly, but the youngest here.
So my name is Michelle, and I let me see. So I have about 16 to 17 years in the industry. I started off doing admin work in the brokerages, the real estate brokerages. And then I was doing deal secretary. I became a law clerk, and I was a real estate law clerk. I also worked in wills and estates and did a little bit of family law. So through that, working at the brokerage and working with real estate law, I learned a lot about the industry, just saw a lot of things with the realtors and how they did things. And I was like, one day I was like, you know what, I think I could probably do this. So I decided to get my license. And I have two children, one that is 9 and one that's 7. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Oh, I love that. Well, thank you for that. I want to say I really love the idea of you guys working as this family unit, the Elm and Oak Sisters. Because that just speaks to legacy. Like when I see that, I just see legacy, right? This, we're gonna get into, you know, how you got here, but you're all moms, and I truly believe like we are our children's first role model, first teacher, and so you're showing them how we can come together and build legacy and build wealth together through something as powerful as real estate. So I commend you guys on that. Love it, love it, love it. Wait, so Michelle, you had the most I guess experience in the industry, but how did that conversation happen where you guys decided let's do this together? Like, because I know my siblings, we don't really see eye to eye. We different. I'm the boss because I'm the oldest. But how did this vision come to
Well,
fruition?
yeah, so I was doing real estate, and then after some time Elizabeth was helping me doing some admin work and stuff like that with real estate. And then she said, like, you know, what if I were to get my license and we were to work together? And Loretta as well. So then I was like, okay, yeah, I think that could, you know, be a good idea. And then that's pretty much how it was birthed. They got their license, and then we just formed an Oak Real Estate.
That was easy.
Yeah. Pretty easy, yeah.
That was easy. Okay. All right. So as a collective, I think were you real estate owners before you became agents, or were you like where did the introduction to real estate outside of work? Like was that something that you were very knowledgeable about, or did you know the power of real estate?
I would like to say it's from childhood. Oh, Michelle, did you want to answer that one?
No, go ahead.
Okay, I would like to say it's from childhood. Like we did move around a lot. Our mother taught us a lot about real estate. We've been homeowners for quite some time.
Mm-hmm.
So we were all homeowners. Our mom pushed us into, you know, purchasing our very first home. And you know, pretty much what makes up our passion is, you know, one of our last homes in Mississauga that we lived into, my mother was told that it's too prestigious, we'll never be able to afford it, you know.
Wow.
kind of move over to this neighborhood where it's a little bit more your pace. So sure enough, you know, my mom she proved him wrong. I believe within 5 years, we moved into that same prestigious neighborhood that that realtor at that time, mother that we will not be able to get into.
Wow. Words have power, but your own words have more power. Come on, mama. You show him.
Right.
And so what has the journey been like working together as a team? Has like I guess everyone has their role in the team, or do you guys just work individually as a team? Like how does that structure work?
I would say it's a little bit of both. We do work like individually sometimes, but we do work together very much. And everybody has their role. And our roles are based off of your skill set, right? So that's the beautiful thing about having the three of us is that we all have different strengths. Right. So we use each other's strengths to know who is doing what. But when sometimes we do stuff that is everything that we do together, but sometimes independently we may have to, we're at different locations, right? So I would take care of my location, Michelle takes care of her location, Loretta takes care of her location. But we also do a lot of events and so forth where we all come together. Marketing is all together. And we just use each other's strengths to really, you know, build the company.
Love that. In terms of your business, do you serve a particular market? I mean, we can serve everybody, right? As I said, I help everybody, but I'm known to help moms within the financial sector. Do you guys have a demographic that you target to help?
Well, we primarily work with women and people of color, like minorities. However, as you mentioned, we kind of work with everybody, but that's like our that's where our heart is to help women and minorities get in real estate, navigate the real estate field.
And have you noticed, I mean, I know you guys have been homeowners for quite some time. I know that with my experience, the qualifying criteria in the mortgage industry has definitely changed. Have you found a difference or it more difficult for women to get into the industry at this time?
I
I
would say
would say,
yes, but like even in the past, and that's the reason why we focus mostly on women's, because we have seen in our past and our different fields how women has I don't know if the right word is suffered because of lack of knowledge, because of relying on our husbands and not understanding the importance of having financial independence and having an understanding of what's going on. Me, for myself, is the credit field. I've seen where, you know, the husband has passed on or found a new wife, and now the woman can't apply for credit because she never did, because her husband was the one who used to apply for credit. So I have seen that. Michelle has seen some experiences, but she could talk about as well. And that's really where our heart is to be like, okay, we need to give education to women, especially people of color too. We know where we've come from. We know that there was a time where we couldn't have real estate, right? And we believe that's part of the wealth gap that we have. And we want to be able to teach people that, you know, how important it is not to just buy one property, but why not buy more and use that as a way to build wealth.
Right. No, I totally agree with that. That's also a conversation I try to have with, any client that I sit with, because back in the day, especially people of color, when they did purchase real estate, their mindset was they purchased a property and then they pay off the mortgage and that was it. And I was like, that's not what real estate is about, right? I think our families would have been so much further ahead had they understood the concept of real estate, right? It's really about leverage. So I'm glad that, there's so many more of us that are out there and teaching and educating the true essence of real estate. It's not about buying one property. Like, it's about having multiple properties or using one to leverage to get more, et cetera. Right? Although we know housing prices are a little bit different here in the GTA, but that's still the same practice, right? You buy one to let you help you buy another and another. So, you want to say something, Michelle?
Yeah. I was just going to say that I think that it's so important for minorities, particularly, to do that. I know that on social media, there's like a lot of, people that will have communication, people that say that they're financial advisors, saying like, oh, don't purchase a property. It's, a liability. But at the end of the day, as people of color, as Elizabeth said, there is a wealth gap. And it is primarily because there was a point in time that we couldn't purchase real estate to hand down to our family or to sell or to be able to leverage, to be able to do other things, whether it's pay for our children's education or anything. So I think for us, it's very important that we see minorities actually out there purchasing properties and building up that wealth. Because it's totally different when someone says it to somebody that looks like us. Oh, you don't need to purchase property. Well, that's well and good, because your people have had centuries to build up your wealth. We didn't have that, so it's very important for us so that we can leave something for our children, and as you said, leave a legacy.
Right. No, for sure, for sure. Did you want to say something, Loretta? I thought I saw you too.
Well, I was going to say not only minorities too, and obviously for women, but my heart's always been on the single women. Once upon a time, I was a single female and pretty much felt like it's the end of the world. I'm never going to become anything. I'm never going to have anything. I'm going to be stuck in the statistics of, a black single female, mother, single mom type of thing. So, just building up, I guess, the confidence of women to let them know that those are just statistics, and you don't have to be that. You could be more than
Right.
what they, don't be put in the box. Don't leave yourself in the box that those people put you in.
Right. Right. And when you say they, will put in quotations, right? Because the media is in this game of like fear mongering. And then because we, and I say we, I speak for us as a culture, like we lack, no, let me not say lack anymore, because I feel like we've come so far. Ladies, I'm telling you, 23 years ago when I got in the industry, and now we've come so far. But we are, as you said, Michelle, we are still behind, right?
Mhm.
And we lack the confidence to believe that we can do what we've seen others do too, right? So it's really like building up yourself with the knowledge, connecting with people like us who are here and have a heart to help you and give you the information, the right information, because not everybody's out there giving the right information, right?
Yeah.
To help you move forward, right? Because if you can do it, if you can do just one, you've opened up so many opportunities for yourself and for your family.
Yes.
I had a question, it just slipped me. Dang, okay, let me go back to my list then. Forget the free flow. What have been some of the major challenges that you guys have experienced with getting our community into real estate?
I think it's the lack of, they think, we think sometimes we don't need it. And I don't know if it's just deep inside that we think we don't deserve it.
Mm,
So because we think we don't deserve it, we portray ourselves that we don't need it. Like, I
mm,
don't need to buy a house, I could rent, you know?
mm-hmm.
Why do I need to do that kind of thing? And I don't know if it's like deep down we think that, we don't deserve it or we can't do it. So we portray that we don't need it, when reality is that everybody should have some kind of ownership. If you don't own anything, then you're
Mm-hmm.
the opposite of owning an owner.
Right.
You're end up being a slave to somebody. And I'm not putting down anybody that rents, but at the end of the day, when the landlord says you need to leave, you need to leave. When the landlord
That's it.
says I'm increasing the rent, you need to increase the rent. When the
That's it.
landlord says, whatever they say, you got to obey those rules.
Mm-hmm.
And so I believe that when you own something, then you come up a little bit higher. And I think it's important for us to do that. But yeah, I think it's lack of knowledge. Sometimes I find people say they can't, but like, why not speak to a mortgage broker?
That's
You never
right.
know until you
That
get
would
it
be me.
done,
That would be me.
right? I mean, when I
Yes.
was when I was younger, I think I got my first home, I was probably 22. And I never thought about getting a home. Like, that wasn't on my mind. I was renting. And if my mom didn't say, okay, it's time for you to buy something, I probably wouldn't have
Mm,
considered doing it, right? So sometimes we do need somebody to really push us to do it. But like,
yeah.
don't get offended when we're trying to push you. Don't get offended. We're not trying
Right.
to really make money from you. We're trying to help you.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, in the process, you
Yeah.
get paid. Come on now. Right?
Yeah,
He works for
Yeah.
free,
Yeah.
but it
we
is
got
truly,
it.
it's for the betterment of you and your family, right? That's what I'm saying. So if you're gonna work with somebody, you're gonna work with somebody who's gonna be honest and authentic and truthful with you. Because I mean, real estate is real estate. If you
Yeah.
get into the right investment, your money will grow. We're fortunate enough to live in a city where that's what happens with our real estate market, right? So you're
Mhm.
here. Why are you not positioning yourself? Go ahead, Michelle.
Yeah.
MC. Mhm.
I was just gonna say, I think another obstacle that we face is just kind of like the lack of community. There's a lot of secrecy in our community, and just wanting to have what's yours and not wanting to kind of come together. And even among families. And I feel like, and that's one of the good things about us working together, is that we're trying to emulate
Mhm.
that and show that you can come together, even in an industry where it's almost like every realtor is a competitor. No, we can come together and we can collaborate and we
Yeah.
can do something, build something together.
Right.
And I feel like that's something within our community that we've noticed, is that a lot of times when it's like, okay, well, right now you maybe don't have all the deposit. Is there somebody that you can ask? Oh no, I don't want anybody involved. It's kind of like, and that's what limits us from being able to get certain places, because we see other communities where you'll know there's like 20 of them living in one house and they help each other and they build. They get to a certain point and then that person goes off and purchases. And in our community, again, it's kind of like, you know, a hand distance. We don't really want to, not everybody, because
Right.
like I feel like it's starting to break. We're starting to see more collaboration,
Definitely.
but we still have a little bit of, yeah, and we still have a little bit of that old mindset, as you said, of like, you just work hard and you do it by yourself. You have your purchase your house, pay off your mortgage. That's it. And just trying to get out of that old mindset and trying to get it to a place where no, we can collaborate. Like you can join with someone and we can have a contract so everybody's protected and we can purchase property. And then that's how we'll be able to expand and really build up the community.
Mm-hmm. Something just came to mind as you said that. So I think what it is that as a culture, we have this attachment to stuff.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And so buying a house means that it's mine. Like I have this versus looking at this as this is a tool that I can leverage or we can leverage to help us get more, right? There's so really that is that asset. I'm not fully understanding what like an asset is versus, things that are of no value or give you no return on that investment.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, I think that's what it is. This is like I just want it. It's mine type of thing.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, no, we don't need to make comparison to other, but I mean, if you see that something works, why wouldn't you open yourself to try it? And maybe it may not work, but again, with real estate, what's the worst thing that can happen? You sell it, you get back your money.
Yes. Yeah. And we're starting to see that. We have some clients that have collaborated and they purchased investment properties and it's working really well. And now they've purchased multiple. We had someone on our page that had like 10 properties and within the space of a few years, some of those properties were purchased with other people. So we're starting to see that, the newer generation, we're starting to get into that investment mindset and we're starting to like get into that collaboration, which is nice.
Beautiful. I love to see it. And as I'm telling you, between when I started and now, we have, when I say taking leaps and bounds, we still have so much further to go, but we are so much further ahead than where we were 20 plus years ago. So much more. So as mompreneurs, because this is the Mama Means Business show, as mompreneurs, I mean, I know Loretta, you said you work another job and you do real estate. How do you find that groove to be able to manage everything and still be able to be there for yourself?
I'm going to say it's not very easy. every day is a new day. So some days it just rolls and everything just rolls and it flows and it's wonderful. And then some days it's just like a full stop, like everything that can go wrong. So it doesn't matter taking the ups and the downs. But if I have to give an advice to how someone should handle it, I would say scheduling. So like schedule your time. So if you know you're working, if you're working, if you have another job that's full time and you're doing that, let's say for example, 8:30 to 5, then I will give yourself about 5:30, give yourself like a 30-minute type of thing, and before you move on to the next one, and then schedule that time out again.
I love that. It's definitely not easy. Y'all have more than one child. I have one and I'm still trying to figure it out. Like, hello. Jeez. Okay. What about you, Elizabeth?
I would say the same thing, making sure you schedule your time. I think it's important for you to have me time. I try to have my me time on Sundays. And when you're talking about scheduling time, think about your meal planning. I feel like when you start to do that, it kind of helps your day. So if you know, okay, well, tomorrow I'm going to cook something, like use was it crock pot? Is that what it's called? I love using that. Put your food in there, and then by the time you finish work, your food is done. Cook 2 meals within one day is another option of doing it. You just have to find a way to prioritize, that to limit how much work you're doing. Work smarter and not harder.
That's
basically.
That's
So
it.
if you have to cook for the week, instead of cooking every day, maybe cook like for 2 days. So that way one day you don't have to. So now you can use that time for yourself. But definitely put some time aside for you to relax, do what you want to do. If it's going to get your nails done, go get your nails done. If it's get
Right.
facial done, go get your facial done. You have to put some time for yourself, because even with work, you still got the kids, you still got
Right.
the husband, you still have to find time for yourself, because we as moms
For
always
those who
give.
have a husband.
Yeah, those who have husbands. We give as moms, we're constantly giving of ourselves,
Yes.
and we sometimes don't give back to ourselves. So we have to make sure we have that time for ourselves as well.
That's actually a whole sermon because like, whoa. But anyways. Michelle, how do you, because you got younger children.
Yeah. So it's a little difficult because they're not old enough that they can do things on their own yet. So that's one thing that I've been working on, is just trying to teach them how to do certain things, make certain simple things for themselves, and so that it alleviates some of that. But one of the things that I realized is that like there just is no such thing as balance. Like people like to say, oh, just balance. You're like, there's no such thing. It's impossible. There's going to be certain times where something's going to just take more priority. You know,
Right.
I what I like to do is I like to set aside time when I pick up the kids to spend time with them a little bit when they come home from school, so that afterwards when I go back to work, it's like, okay, we've kind of like we've spent some time together. Now you kind of go do an activity while I go back to work, because there's no way that I can really balance it out and make sure that it's even.
Right.
Different things are going to take different priorities at different times, and you just have to acknowledge that and just be okay with it.
Right.
So I think just really realizing that and just finding ways to make time for different things, even if it doesn't balance out. Maybe one week you spend more time working, and then the next week you spend more time with family, and just finding a way to like make it work.
Right.
But for me, definitely family is like number one. I schedule everything in with my kids first, and then kind of work around it to make sure that I'm there for like those big things that I want to make sure that I'm there for.
As you were speaking, I see a visualization of this video that I watched where there was a glass jar. I think it was a teacher had a glass jar, and then he put the big rocks inside. So those are your priorities, your majors, your staples that have to get done, which are your family time and so forth. And then he put some little pebbles, and that filled in, like, so that would probably be, business, client appointments, things like that. And then he filled it with sand, and then sand just found itself within all the crevices. So it's really prioritizing in order of importance and being intentional. That's the theme that I'm hearing from all of you, being intentional with your time. Because they say 24 hours, we all have the same 24 hours, but for some reason, I don't know if it's my clock, but that 24 hours seems like 12. I swear. You blink and it's like, how is it 8 o'clock? How is it 8 o'clock?
And in the winter, it's worse. In the winter, when it's like dark so early, and
Right?
it's like for me, it's horrible.
Oh, terrible.
Or
And
after the
I'm
long weekends, you think that you have a long weekend, but I don't know. I find like after the long weekend, it just seems longer than even 7 days. And it's like you're trying to do work and so forth, but it's just, I don't know.
funny you said that because my son
So
didn't have school last Monday. Last Monday. So last week was a four-day work week. This week we'll be coming back into the 5 week. And just like yesterday, I felt like, what is happening? It feels like there's been 8 days this week. Why is this week not finished yet? I think I'm getting old. I think I'm getting old. All right. So what's up and coming for the Elm and Oak Sisters?
So last year we did a She Empowered event. We're looking to do that again this year. We're still in discussion on how we want to go forward with it. We want to do it more of an investment event. So we have that coming up. We haven't put a date up yet, and we're still like in the talks. So last year we did November. We'll probably do it, around the same time, October-ish. And also we want to do a first time home buyers event. And the funny thing is you think that people know until someone comes to you and they're like, but I don't know what to do. And I'm like, but there's so much information out there. So that just shows us that even though there's so much information out there, people still need to be educated.
No, that was conviction right there because I struggle with that. I'd be like, I'm always saying the same thing, but you've already like it was there. Like you didn't. What do you mean you don't know, right? So I do struggle with sharing that information because I feel like for me, and because I know it, and then I'm saying it, I feel like I'm repeating myself over and over and over again. But the truth is, one, people need to hear things at least 7 times before they receive the information. Two, they're not receiving it in a consistent order. So even if I said it, 4 times out of the month, they probably either didn't get it the first time or any of the 4 times, or they've only heard it once. So thank you. That was a reminder. Okay, Siobhan, just keep sharing. Just keep sharing. Just keep sharing.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about the market a little bit because I know people are, worried, right? What are you seeing now in the market with respect to, I guess, housing prices, maybe? What's happening in the market right now?
I think it really depends on the different areas. Obviously, prices are down from when they were at the peak in 2022. However, when we look year over year and even in 2021, prices are still up. Now that there's the new latest interest rate hike, it'll be interesting to see how it impacts the market. However, I don't anticipate that it's going to have a huge bearing on the market. One of the things about real estate is that people are always needing to buy and sell. So as much as everybody keeps talking about the market's crashing, the market's going to crash,
sorry,
the reality is.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but can you say that again for the people in the back?
Yeah.
Say that again.
The reality is the market is not going to crash because people are always buying and selling. Somebody's always dying, they need to sell their property. Somebody's always getting married, they need a bigger property. Their family is growing. There's all people are getting separated. There's all kind of life events where people are always going to be buying and selling. And so the people that are waiting on the sidelines for some market crash, they are going to end up being left behind or paying more for the property than if they just get in the market today. And so people get upset when realtors are always like, the best time to buy is right now. And they're like, oh, you just want to make a commission. Well, no, the best time to buy is right now because the other best time was yesterday, but you didn't buy yesterday. Mm-hmm. So we can tell you to wait, but at the end of the day, none of us have a crystal ball. And at the end of the day, you should always buy real estate and wait, because if you look at house prices 10 years ago, if those people had waited 10 years ago, a lot of those properties that are over $1 million now, there was 300,000-400,000. And at that time, those prices were high. At that time, that interest rate was high. So you have to just get into the market and purchase when and where you can purchase and hold on to that property.
No, that's real. My philosophy is get in where you fit in and let real estate do its magic, right? Real estate is something that, as I said, it's on our market. It has always appreciated. It may stall for a little bit, it may settle, but it has never we've never experienced a crash in their terms, right? We've never experienced that. And so the housing market has continuously flowed. It has never stopped here. So get in where you fit in, let real estate do what it does, and make your money grow. Make your money grow. Make your money grow.
Yes.
What is the next up and coming city or region?
It's interesting because Kawartha Lakes is on Kawartha Lakes.
Don't laugh.
That is very northeast. So it's very much north of Durham.
That's giving me probably
sorry?
Boat. That's giving me boat. Do I need a boat?
No. No. It's probably about an hour from Toronto, but that area is growing exponentially. The mayor is talking about the fact that they're seeing that the population is going to double within the next few years. They have a lot of development. So essentially, even outside of Kawartha Lakes, a lot of the outer skirts areas, because the thing is that the GTA, the city, is just too expensive for the people that don't currently own. or that want to be able to upgrade. So a lot of people are looking for the outer skirts, the next cheapest place to go, the next, closest place, but the cheapest place to go. And people are going further and further out. So it's always a great opportunity because the house prices in those areas are still very low. In Kawartha Lakes, you have 3-bedroom properties for 500,000. Like, you can't get that in the GTA. So there's a lot of people that are realizing that, and they're purchasing properties. We're starting to see a lot of investors getting into this area. We're starting to see a lot of investors getting into the outskirt areas because they are aware. And that's the thing with buyers. You have to see what the people that are educated in this industry, what they're doing, what the investors are doing, where they're going. You need to go because they already researched. They already know why they're going there. So you need to follow because they've already mapped it out. They already know what it's going to cost them, how much money they're going to make. That's why they're going there. And so I would say definitely we're seeing like the outskirts definitely starting to boom.
I would like to also see what's going to happen in Brampton as well, Caledon. Now that we know that they're separated from Peel, I would just see there's a possibility of growth going there, especially Caledon. I don't know what exactly is going to happen with Caledon, but Caledon has a lot of land.
You're right. Yeah,
has a lot of land. So it'll be
premium land
interesting
at
to see what happens there.
Yeah, no, you're right. Go ahead.
Another key place that we have our eyes on is kind of by East Gilbury, where they're planning on making that other highway down that way. Because once you start to see the new infrastructure, once you start to see new roads and highways being built, you know that means that people are going to start going there. So again, it's all about watching and seeing what's happening. Once you start to see infrastructure going somewhere, you know that that's going to be a good investment because those properties are going to increase once they start making new highways and new accessibility to be able to get there, new transportation. Those kind of things are good indicators that those areas are going to boom. So when you start seeing those things, it's a good time to start purchasing in those areas.
No, you're right. I remember, as you said that, I remember Brampton, like when the GO train, that was like 10 years ago, maybe, when they were just going to start building. There was all land there. And now look at out there out by Beauvais there. It's fully developed. So yeah, stay on top of it. People don't like to change, they're comfortable in a certain setting. So they like the idea living in the GTA, right? But I mean, you got to think long term. You got to think long term. And when you think, oh, drive an hour. I mean, I used to live in Barrie, and people were like, oh my gosh, that's so like. I was like, but before Barrie, I lived at Mavis Road in Mississauga, and worked at McCowan. It took me more time to get to my office than it did from home to Barrie, right? So you really got to stretch your mind and again, focus on the end goal. Real estate is a long-term strategy. Win-win, get in where you fit in. And that's my sermon. That's my sermon. Over the course, I know that you guys are fairly new in the real estate, Elizabeth and I think Loretta, but so you came in or you started doing real estate in like the pandemonium, right? Have things changed a little bit? Like how has I guess I would say the temperature maybe of that really awkward time where people didn't know what's happening, but I know real estate didn't stop happening to now. Have you seen a change in people's attitudes towards real estate? Like what are the people saying?
I'm thinking a lot of people are concerned with the interest rates. A lot of people are fearful with the interest rates. So it's a matter of educating them. Like, yes, the rates have gone up. However, because the house prices has normalized a little bit, it almost your monthly payments equal up to about the same, whether if you bought now versus back then.
Right.
So the question more or less is, who do you want? Where would you much rather see your money? Going to the bank where they're just going to make money off of it, or seeing it into your own investment that is going to continue to build.
Right.
So yeah, I'm seeing what I'm seeing personally is just more people being fearful because of the interest rates, or some people are listening, like what Michelle mentioned earlier, thinking that we're going to have the Big Bang Theory and the whole
Mhm.
house crash and stuff like that. So some people are listening to that level of news as well. So that's what I'm seeing on my side over here in the Halton area.
I hear you. And I mean, I can speak to the rates too, right? So I had shared a reel on my Instagram just last week where it was a news segment that Bank of Canada had just made an announcement and rates were like 17.1, and he was like,
Yes.
he said it was like, go to Timmy's across the street, dude, right? And I'm thinking to myself like, we've been spoiled. We have
Yeah.
literally been
Yes.
spoiled, right? So I mean, 5-6%, that's average, right? But because of
Hmm.
where we were, like 1%, the banks didn't even know what to do when they were writing mortgages for 1% because they've never ever done that before, right? And so going to what you said, Loretta, like housing prices are
Yeah.
much more expensive. The interest rates are lower, but think about it. Would you rather pay more for real estate, right? Pay more for the price of the house and a lower interest rate, or would you rather pay less for the house with a higher rate? Rates are going to always go up and down. Like that's just how it works here in Canada, right? But with the house price, once you pay a high price for the house, like you just have to work your way backwards from that, right? So yeah,
Hmm.
rate should not be, it is a factor, but it should not be the deciding factor whether you buy
Yeah.
now or not.
Yeah.
And I always stress that, you know, real estate investment is really a personal experience. So if your funds can manage, real estate, then that's the best time for you. So it's not about the market. It's
Yeah.
not about what you see the media says. It's
Mhm.
not about just the interest rate. It's about, can you afford to? If the numbers make sense, get in where you fit in. I think I've said that enough
Yes.
times for you guys to get it. Get in where you fit in. All right. You were gonna say something? Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that we always get that question. When's the best time to buy? Well, the best
Mm-hmm.
time is gonna be the best time for you. And with
Right.
the interest rates, it really reminds me of like gas prices. Like when gas price goes up, especially when it rose, like I remember back in the day when it was like 69 cents. Like and then when it rose up to over $1, people are like, oh my gosh, I'm not gonna be driving anymore. I'm gonna be riding my bike to work. The reality is that lasted for like a week and everybody's back in their car
Back in the
and they
car, pumping up
get
gas.
readjusted and climatized.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Because at the end of the day, we can complain about it as much as what we want, but in reality, as I said, things are happening. People still need to buy and sell real estate, and people
Absolutely.
still want that ownership. So so, like, we can say whatever we want about the rates, but eventually people start to get climatized to it, and then they're going to start purchasing again. And if you're going to sit back on the sidelines and wait, then unfortunately you're going to be missing out because once rates go down, as we said, house prices are going to go back up.
That's it.
So you kind of have to weigh the two and figure out when is the best time for you.
Right, right. And remember,
I
real
think
estate
what
is a
I
long-term game. Long term. Sorry, go
yeah,
ahead.
I think what I've seen, the change that I've seen is a great opportunity for buyers now. When
Mm-hmm.
COVID happened, I mean, houses were selling within hours. There was
Right.
lineup outside of doors. People were putting in offers without conditions. We are still in a seller's market today. However, it's in regions, right? However, you still have the ability now to look at a few houses before buying. You still have the
Mm-hmm.
ability now to put in a few more conditions in there. There's no rat race. We do have some offer presentations still. We still have houses, with
Mm-hmm.
offers and bidding wars and so forth. But what I see for buyers is I see opportunity for them. And I
Right.
think that buyers really need to step in there and step in the game and, take advantage of it.
I agree. My name is Siobhan, and I approve that message. Sorry, guys. All right. So let's talk a little bit about entrepreneurship. Because I'm pro entrepreneurship or pro business, although I understand that not everyone has, the skill set or the wherewithal to manage entrepreneurship. Being as though we're in the similar industry, it's, if we don't, if what they used to say when I started is like, if you don't kill, you don't eat, right?
Mhm.
How can you, what would you say to someone who is considering, or a mom, sorry, what would you say to a mom who is considering that they know they need, some form of flexibility in their income, they need some freedom with their income, they need some freedom with their time? What would you say what would you say to encourage them to get into entrepreneurship, whether that be the mortgage industry, whether that be real estate, or even just any form of business?
Same thing I would say for home ownership. If you don't own something, you become a slave. If you work for a company the rest of your life, they're going to tell you when you can go on vacation, how
Mm-hmm.
many hours you're going to work. You could be working today and tomorrow they get rid of you because at the end of the day, you're just a number. Whereas when
Mm-hmm.
you work for yourself, you have that control. Yes, you may have to work a little harder, but at the same time, there's the sky's the limit.
Right.
They can't tell you when you're working, let's say your income is 90,000, that's it. You can't go up any higher. But if you work for yourself, you can work longer. You could go on vacation and let's say you go on vacation, take your laptop with you and work.
That's
At
it.
least you have the options. When you work for somebody else, you don't have that options.
Love that. Yeah. That's nothing like that laptop money, okay? I've done it. I've done it. What about your children? Any of your children have shown any entrepreneurship uh interests? Anyone has a business or wants to follow in any of your footsteps?
My daughter says that to me. I was doing a showing the other day and she's like, Mommy, when I am, not in commercials or I'm not in a TV show or doing a modeling gig, I am going to be your assistant and work with you. And then I'm going to get my license and I'll have my own brokerage. I'm like,
Okay.
okay, girl.
Using big words too. What you know about brokerage?
Right.
Listen,
And
I
she
love
like
that.
has it all planned out when, in between her modeling and her commercials. I'm like, okay, girl.
So she's definitely an entrepreneur at heart. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. Any other
Well,
children?
well, for myself, my oldest daughter, she's actually studying to become a lawyer.
Okay.
And the law firm that she's already working at, she's working towards taking over. So when she's fully
Mm.
licensed, she hopefully will be taking over that law firm. So
Oh, I love that because we need lawyers. We'll always need lawyers. I love that. And what
yeah.
any of yours, Elizabeth?
My kids haven't actually expressed any desire to work for themselves. And I honestly believe it's the school system. The school system teaches you to go to work, have a family, and work more,
Hmm. Yeah.
right? They don't teach you the skills of how to be an entrepreneur, and they
Right.
don't teach you the benefits of it, and they don't teach you how to do it.
Right.
Um,
That's for sure.
so I mean, I'm trying to drill that in my kids' heads about entrepreneurship. I said, even if you work for somebody, at least I want my kids to have that skill of thinking like an entrepreneur.
Yes.
That way, if they change their mind or her door closes, they could do that kind of stuff. But so far, none of them are. My daughter, she's in writing. She likes to write. She's in creative writing.
Okay.
And my son, he's still in high school, so he's still like, I'm not sure what I want to
I
do.
hear you. Oh, okay. Well, at least they have time. They have time.
They
I
do.
love that though. Well, at least all you guys need is one to carry on the ELM and Oak sister legacy. So, and I think Michelle's daughter's got that under wraps. All right. So any final suggestions or advice to the listeners about getting into position to create legacy through real estate?
Um, I would say if you cannot save for with yourself, like to partner with somebody
Mm-hmm.
to help you, whether it's for credit, whether it's for additional income, partner with somebody. That's one of the greatest ways to get started if you can't do it on your own.
Right.
I would
Yeah.
like to say, don't take no for as an answer.
Oh, I love that.
In,
Mm-hmm.
investigate on your own and find a way. Even if that way is saving for another 5 more years, find a way. Don't take no as the answer. There's always a way.
That's right. I love that.
I would say just definitely work towards the goal of home ownership. You know, for me, even the last few times, I'm like, oh, I don't want to vote. But then sometimes I think to myself, like, you know, there was a time that somebody that looked like me couldn't vote. So why
Right.
should I not take this opportunity? And so I feel like as a woman, as a minority, whatever it is you are, you know, anybody, like you can own property and you can create wealth through that. And so once that opportunity arises, take that opportunity, but don't just wait for an opportunity to fall out of thin air. You have
That's
to
right.
plan for it. If that's something that you desire, contact a mortgage broker, contact Siobhan and say, this is my situation right now. And let her help work out a plan for you that you can get there. Because without a plan, you don't know where you're going, and you don't have anything mapped out. They always say if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So
That's
just
right.
sitting there and having this pipe dream of I'm going to purchase property without having an actual plan and steps as to how you're going to get there, you're planning to never own. You know, and that's not something that we want. We want to see more people having that pride of ownership. And you need to align yourself with the professionals that can help map that out for you.
Yeah, for sure. I love that. I love that. Great advice, ladies. This has been fun. My first multiple
Yeah.
guest podcast, and everything worked. You know, I know the storm was trying to knock Michelle out, but you know, we weren't having that. But thank
Right.
Right.
you. Where can the people find you guys?
Well, on all major platforms. So we're on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Am I missing one, ladies?
YouTube.
Oh, and YouTube. Yeah. So if you look up Elm and Oak, you'll be able to find us. Also, we have our website too, www.elmandoakrealestate.com.
Awesome. Ladies, thank you so much. I truly appreciate spending this time with you, and we will stay connected.
All
Yeah.
right. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having